Where did we come with such a low price for such a beautiful steroid? This is freaking good. I'll be reviewing today BAWADI by Asda. By the way, Asda is one of the lines by Lattafa. This is one fragrance that I was excited about reviewing, and that was mostly richly because it's quite an amazing scent profile, and I thought I should share in this in the review of this very fragrance. This is BAWADI by Asda. I really can't emphasize how much I love this fragrance. It's just an amazing fragrance. This is another beast mode fragrance you shouldn't ignore. This stuff is so good. It's the kind of fragrance you have a tough time trying to review because it's just too good at what it's doing. For me, BAWADI, let me start by saying this. The behavioral pattern of this very fragrance, I mean the character now, is so complex in such a way that it's difficult to express what this fragrance is all about. I'll start by saying that the opening of BAWADI here, oh, this smells good. In the opening, you get an orange and cinnamon duo. That's what you get in the opening. There's an orange and saffron situation. You're more likely to pick more saffron actually than the orange. But I mean, if your nose is well trained, you definitely pick some whiffs of that orange. It's there, projects strongly in your face. 20 minutes after that situation, cinnamon walks in. You find this cinnamon, this kind of burnt cinnamon crawling in. It crawls in, walks past the orange and saffron, pierces the middle note of this fragrance, and goes straight to the base note of this fragrance to, marry the caramel here. Once that union happens, that's where the magic happens. As the orange and the saffron begins to build and develop, and it's all over your face, you find this cinnamon creeping in. It walks in so strongly, it comes so sharp that it walks past the top notes of this fragrance, pierces through the orange and saffron, goes through the middle note, and just goes straight to the base note of this fragrance to settle with the caramel. There's a very strong bond between the cinnamon and the caramel in this fragrance, so you get that koinonia in the base scent profile of this very fragrance. It's an amazing artwork. For me, I feel like BAWADI is a piece of art because it's a fragrance that you can't describe in very easy terms. I find it to be a very, very artistic fragrance. I love it. This is one of the fragrances that crosses my mind whenever I'm dressed corporate or dressed, for work like this. Of course, there are days I don't get to dress like this, but I mean, whenever I'm going to be in my suits, BAWADI is top choice. I mean, you smell like the owner of the building. You smell like you know what you're doing. You smell like you have a clue about life. This thing gives a very it's very masking. Once you wear this, you mask any other scent or perfume around you. It's almost like you bury every other person's scents, perfumes or fragrances. So this is another budget on steroids. So still in the character of this fragrance, I find it to lean more towards men in their 30s and above. I would even say mid-30s and above. From 40 years, this sits very conveniently on you. It's an advantage. The older you get, the more you can wear this fragrance. I get to wear it and it just suits and blends, works perfectly for me. I really don't know if it's an age factor thing, but this holds up very strongly and firmly. I love how this fragrance was composed. It's lucid clear. You probably can see how the level of effort and detail the brains behind this scent profile would have tried to establish. Now, projection. I'll give it a 10 over 10 in projection. This projects well. It introduces itself. It's not the kind of fragrance you are trying to check if it's still there. It's there. And it's also quite difficult to even get a nose make to this fragrance because of how strong it is. So even when you feel like you have used it long enough to think you should by now probably just get a nose make to this fragrance, it's actually very difficult to, because it's very strong and it's I mean, you always get it right in your, as I'm sitting, I mean, I used it, and I can tell you the whole room, this whole suite is smelling BAWADI. So this is a 10 in the projection. The longevity here, I still give it straight 10. It's a 10-10 scenario here. This will stay solid 24 hours on your fabric. If I have to say 48 hours, it will feel like I'm exaggerating, which it actually does. But I'm trying to, keep it very low key. This is 24 hours on fabric, 12 to 15 hours on skin, very easily. I mean, if you're going to frolic with this fragrance, you don't need a lot of sprays. You need to be easy with your triggers. Less is more when it comes to this fragrance. 2 sprays here is 15 sprays in most of the fragrances you have, even the designer fragrances. So this is top notch. This is on the extreme. It has a very decent longevity, and you can't take it away from this fragrance. Also, if you have to be wearing this to church, you have to minimize on your spray, because there's a very high propensity you will likely choke your neighbors in front, behind, left and right. You're going to be in everybody's business. If that's your kind of lifestyle, if that's what you're about, then by all means do that. But if that's really not what you want, then you need to cut down on the sprays. So for me, I would say 2 sprays is very fine with BAWADI, because it's extremely strong. It's extremely strong. It's a beast mode fragrance. This is a beast mode fragrance. You wear this to very serious functions. You can't wear this to the gym. It's not a very flexible scent. There is so much complexity with this fragrance. It's not the kind of fragrance you wear to the gym or to check up on a friend or to... I think this is the downside of this fragrance, because it's not actually easy in wearing. Whilst its performance is uncanny, it's amazing, nostalgic, the downside of this fragrance is in the wearing. It's very difficult to find a way to actually put this. It's not a casual scent. It's not the kind of fragrance you can use casually in a reflex. I really just need to put that out of the way. It's not that kind of fragrance. It has a broad personality. Smells good, very rich, very dense, well textured, heavily composed. I mean, a very, very, very heavy scent. I love how this holds up like all the time. It's hard to say something bad about this fragrance, except the fact that it's actually not flexible in wearing. Besides that, this is an amazing story. This is an amazing situation. Feels good. Feels premium in the hand. This doesn't feel cheap in any way. The cap is a bit plasticky. That has some, gold carvings. It's a very good stuff. I would recommend it anytime, any day. This is a statement fragrance. This is a signature scent. This is the kind of perfume that leaves people with a muscle memory of you. This is a very unique DNA. I really do love how this holds up. I really, really, really do love how this behaves, how this handles my skin. Because I have quite a dry skin. I still get well over 12 to 15 hours on this fragrance. That should tell you something. The sillage here is astronomical. You are going to take possession of your space, and not just your space. This is an invader. This is not the kind of fragrance you wear and have privacy. It will definitely take you out of your cocoon and definitely take you out of your comfort zone. So it's that kind of fragrance. You don't hide with this. Once you wear this, it's a big announcement. This announces you. This is out there. You have signed up to be in people's businesses in the course of the day, throughout that day, in the next 24 hours. You don't need to top up with this. You don't need to respray this. Once you use it, you're good. I used it this morning, and I can tell you for free, if I get to wear this suit again, that's if I don't get to laundry it after wearing it today, I'm more likely not to use any perfume again on this very clothes. I think one of the problems this perfume also has is that it has a hard time with letting go. BAWADI doesn't give up. That's the problem with this very fragrance. It's synonymous with this fragrance. BAWADI doesn't know when to stop. He doesn't know when to draw the line. It just punches all the way. I mean, there are times when a perfume is winning and he knows he's winning, so he decides to just take it easy and take go. BAWADI fights all the way to the end like he's losing from the beginning. So this is a great fighter. This is a big puncher. This guy is astronomical. It's hard to judge this fragrance. The only accurate thing you can say about this very fragrance is the fact that it's a beast mode fragrance. It's extremely strong. It's going to do 24 hours on fabric or more. and 12 to 15 hours on skin. It does different things to different people, quite honestly, and that can be a good thing and can also be a bad thing, because it's possible to buy this with the impression of getting one's subjective position or posture or mindset on this fragrance, only to end up with a different expression of this. So I feel like it can be a good thing, it can also be a bad thing. Regardless of the outcome, the circumstances, I will tell you for free that this is a rare gem. This is something you really need to have. Whenever I run into perfumes like this, it scares me. The reason is because I don't know how long this is going to be in the market. How long are we going to have this around? That scares me all the time. I just keep buying, all right? I just keep buying. This is not the kind of perfume you want to buy in early quarters. If you can afford to get as many as possible, by all means, please do. Get as many as you need. You could get 4 or 5 years supply on this, and don't worry, you don't have anything to fear. This is still going to hold up. This is going to do well. This is one of the perfumes I actually feel it's extremely timeless. 10 years from now, BAWADI will still smell rich and luxurious. 20 years from now, it's even going to be better, because then it would have aged into something more vintage and classic. So this is a must get. This is a must buy. This is something you want to have, you must have. This is a unisex fragrance, but I wouldn't say it's unisex. I feel it tilts more towards the direction of the male or men than female, because it has, that cinnamon and caramel, the coitus that happens with those scent profiles gives off some, I wouldn't use the word skanky, but it gives off, not animalic, there is a word. There is just this kind of boozy vibe you get from this very fragrance. I feel like it's the kind of boozy that would do better on men as opposed to women. Don't get it twisted. This is an oriental spicy fragrance. You can't take that away from this perfume. It's like a bouquet of, high-end floral notes put together for a very long time. It feels that way. I mean, that's how I interpret this fragrance, and that's how it feels on me. I love it. My conclusion on this is, if you can afford it, buy it. The price performance on this perfume is practically unbelievable. This goes for 15K. To think that a perfume like this is sold for 15,000. I would buy this perfume over Red Tobacco by Mancera, that is sold for well over 100K. I will buy this perfume over Red Tobacco by Mancera. I will buy this perfume over any Jean Paul Gaultier. I will buy this perfume over any Dior collection. The only thing that would fight this perfume is the fact that it's Middle Eastern. That's the only reason why you would find a perfume like this not being sold out. Because if people were given to quality, a perfume like this would have been out of stock in Nigeria, in Africa altogether. It's crystal clear. I mean, it's lucid clear that people are mostly not after, quality. People are rather more after brands. And I'm not big on brands. I'm big on delivery. I mean, I don't care whichever company, Middle Eastern, wherever, anywhere I get value, I'm stuck there. I'm not stuck on nationalities, on brands, on other packaging. It doesn't do anything for me. This is a freaking good steroid. This is an amazing steroid. This is an amazing juice. This is value for money. The value proposition on this very fragrance is very ridiculous. My advice is, if you run into BAWADI by Asda in any Middle Eastern fragrance store or any Arabic fragrance house, please buy and thank me later. This is an amazing supply. This was supposed to be in supply for people who don't have enough budget for some of these high-end fragrances that don't even perform 1/3 of what you get with BAWADI by Asda.